It is one of my favorite times of the MLB offseason. We've got the MLB trade rumors prediction contest. Link down in the description down below if you guys have not ever done this before. But we do it every year. It's always a ton of fun. We've never been good at it, but that's okay. Juan Soto, he is going to stay as a New York Yankee, plain and simple. Corbin Burns, I feel like the Boston Red Sox. This is tough, man. This is really hard. I like the Red Sox. I like the Red Sox getting Corbin Burns.
All right, free agent contest. Spencer Turnbull, number 50. Where do I think Spencer Turnbull is going to go? I think he's going to go to the Athletics. I think that the Athletics are going to add some guys to their starting pitching staff in that roster in 2025. Harrison Bader. That's a guy who's not going to go to a lot. Let's see. I could see him like maybe going as like a backup for like the Orioles, maybe. I'm gonna say the Red Sox. Why not? I don't know. I'm just gonna say it.
Alex Bregman. I've seen some things about the Tigers in the department of third base, adding some leadership. Fitting that the team that eliminates the Astros then steals one of their prized possessions. Alex Bregman is a Detroit Tiger, ladies and gentlemen. Be kind of weird, but oh well. Blake Snell, huh? Do they have the money for that? I don't even know if they have the money for that. Who needs a starting pitcher like that? Blake Snell? Is he a Met? He's a Met.
Let's see. Ogasawara. I'm gonna say he's gonna go to the Cubs. I don't know why. David Robertson. I think David Robertson runs it back with the Rangers. Thoughts? Ooh, Sugano. I think Sugano probably goes to the Dodgers. Where's he at? Where's the Dodgers? Justin Verlander. Honestly, I think he runs it back with the Astros. I do. I honestly do. Shane Bieber. I will be shocked if the Guardians do not retain Shane Bieber.
Willie Adames feels like the most obvious giant. They just need they want to upgrade at shortstop. I feel like Max Fried's going back to Atlanta. That's where I think he's going back. Pete Alonso. Peter. Said at the deadline I thought the Astros are going to get him. I feel like they signed him to be their answer at first base. Jack Flaherty feels like he's going back to Los Angeles. Anthony Santander, huh? Wow. Where do I think he goes? Diamondbacks could be interesting. I don't think Jock Peterson's going back. D-backs? I don't know, dude. I don't know. Back with the Orioles? Seattle Mariners? God. It's hard, man. Diamondbacks. Let's get kooky. Let's get crazy.
It'd also be kind of a shame if they don't, because it just seems right there. Ha-Sung Kim, ready for this? Seattle Mariners. I think Ha-Sung Kim is going to be a Seattle Mariner when it is all said and done. That is going to be the one free agent bat that they sign. They're going to say that's the best bat available, and when they got him, he's going to be a Seattle Mariner. Thoughts? Tommy Kahnle. Sure, sounds like a Brave to me. Kyle Gibson, not going to go to the Cardinals. Who needs pitching? I don't know. The Nationals. They lost Patrick Corbin. They're like, yep, Kyle Gibson. Andrew Kittredge. Well, for you, Joe, he's a Mariner.
Let's get wild. Why not? Sean Manaea. Sean Manaea is going to go to the Cubs. Sure. Feel like he could be back in New York, but whatever. Teo's back with the Dodgers. Yusei Kikuchi, huh? Yusei. I feel like so they don't feel like they lost a lot in that trade. I feel like he re-signs with the Astros. I don't think they get the top end of the market, but I think the evaluation is 3 years, $51 million, $17 million, and say 20 something for Pete. The Astros can probably spend $30 million this offseason. They're not bringing back Bregman. Maybe they can't. I don't know. Astros. Christian Walker. He's going to be a New York Yankee. The Yankees need an answer at first base. The answer is Christian Walker.
Going into that Mariners bullpen, Michael Soroka, Mariner. Kirby Yates. So right now we have Andrew Kittredge, Michael Soroka. This isn't for Mariner Mojo. Hold on. I think Michael Soroka is going to go to the Mariners because I think he just makes sense in like a bullpen capacity, but he could like maybe be a backup starter for them as well. Kirby Yates, I could definitely see signing with like the Giants, especially if they don't trust their closer right now. So I think that there's a good chance that Kirby Yates could go there. Walker Buehler would look weird in anything but a Dodgers uniform, so I think he's going to go back to the Dodgers in this one. Kyle Higashioka, that's a tough one because he had a pretty good run there with the Padres. Luis Campusano was pretty bad. Don't want to send him back to the Pods? Nah. I think he goes to the Rangers. It's like a backup sort of guy to Jonah Heim. How do we feel about that? Who's their catcher that they got who like hasn't really turned out? I can't think of it right now. Paul Goldschmidt. I think he goes back to the Diamondbacks. I don't think they re-sign Christian Walker, and therefore I think that he's going to go back to the Diamondbacks to kind of finish out his career in a Diamondbacks uniform. I think that'd be kind of sick. AJ Minter, that's a tough one. As a back end of the bullpen guy, like Orioles makes sense. Padres make sense because they lost their lefty guy. Oh, Phillies make sense. I'm gonna go Orioles. I don't know why. I feel like Orioles is right. Max Scherzer. Do I think that Scherzer is gonna retire? Do I think that Max Scherzer retires? I don't think I do. I don't think that I think that. Does he go to the Phillies? They lose Taiwan. Mets. LOL. Who could I see spending the money for Max Scherzer this offseason? Sure. Let's get weird, huh? Let's get weird and say that the Athletics are going to sign Max Scherzer because they need like a former MVP or former Cy Young future Hall of Famer. Why not?
Have a good day. Tanner Scott, he is a Los Angeles Dodger. I've said it numerous times. The Dodgers cannot allow any team to allow him to pitch to Shohei Ohtani going forward. That is my 2 cents. Luis Severino, who's in the market for starting pitching? I feel like he's back with the Mets. That just feels right. Back with New York. Sure. Jurickson Profar, I feel like he's just going back to San Diego. Seen some stuff about the Braves being interested in nasty Nate Eovaldi. I think he just goes back to Texas. Jeff Hoffman, reliever. Is this the first reliever mentioned? Team's gonna do something. What team is gonna do something weird with a reliever? Oh, Cincinnati? I don't hate that. Nah, he's a Royal. He's gonna be a Royal. Lucas Erceg, James MacArthur, Jeff Hoffman. That's their 3-headed monster at the back of that pen. That's what's going to happen there. Tyler O'Neill did not get the QO from the Red Sox. Instead, they gave it to Pivetta. Who is going to sign Tyler O'Neill this offseason? Who needs a corner outfielder? The Orioles? Orioles could be interesting. Could be. Orioles. I'm something is just shouting at me. Orioles. Sure. Glaber. I don't think I have a good pulse on where Glaber is gonna go, or where what teams will want him. Like a good offensive second baseman. Seattle Mariners. The Mariners. I don't know if there's a good answer here. Am I dumb? I might be dumb. Just back to the Yankees. I don't know. Clay Holmes. Man. I've got too many people going back to the Yankees. They can't keep getting away with this. Clay Holmes is an Oriole.
They're going to spend some money in their first year. No, they're not. Who am I kidding? That's stupid. That's just stupid. You know where he's going? He's going to the Angels because they were probably going to try to sign Garrett Cole if he did not stick with the Yankees, but he did. Michael Conforto is an interesting one. Michael Conforto. Ooh, if they were to miss out on Juan Soto, I could see it. Or if they want to move on from Verdugo. You know what? Conforto to the Yankees. He's going back to New York. They move on. They do re-sign Soto. Well, don't Joe cut that out. They don't re-sign Soto. Cut that out. Jose Quintana, I think he goes back to the Mets, in my opinion. Danny Jansen's an interesting one. Also, doesn't he have like 2 N's or somewhere, like right here? Like, no. Who am I thinking of? Whatever. Maybe he goes to the Cardinals because they're moving Contreras to first base. I don't know. Padres. I'm gonna say Jesus. I'm gonna say Nick Martinez is gonna go to the Padres. I kind of like that fit at the back end of their bullpen. Nick Pivetta, I'm gonna say goes back to the Red Sox. But I'll be interested to see kind of what plays out from there. Frankie Montas is an interesting name as well. Blue Jays? I think Frankie Montas is a Blue Jay.
Carlos Estevez is going back to Philadelphia. See, quick, easy money. Matt Boyd? Do the Guardians need him? I don't know if the Guardians need him. Matthew Boyd. Go back to the Tigers. Go back to Detroit. Help out your boy, Tarek Skubal. Why not? Young Jock? DH? DH only? Blue Jay. Bang. Andrew Heaney. Pirates? They don't need pitching. But, like, what team's going to give Andrew Heaney a contract? Is he really still, like, doing it like that for teams? Like, he's not going back to Texas, I don't think. They've got too many young guys, I think, kind of, like, coming up that they want to give some innings to. Andrew Heaney, he's going back to the team that originally drafted him. He's going back to the Marlins, okay?
I don't love it. I do. I think Frankie Montas is going to be a Blue Jay. Thoughts? Hai-Sung Kim. Okay, so I already have Ha-Sung Kim going to the Mariners. I think Hai-Sung Kim's another guy that could potentially go to the Mariners. But I think in this scenario, I'm going to send him to... I think Hai-Sung Kim is going to be... I don't know if I love that. He's going to the Royals. He's going to my Royals, baby.
Ha-Sung Kim is a Seattle Mariner. Don't care. I want him. I'm calling it a day. I'm a Mariners fan. I'm biased. I don't care. Ha-Sung Kim, welcome to Seattle. Frankie Montas. I feel like a team that is going to sign him. Let's go. I mean, the Angels just got Kyle Hendricks today. Like, sign him and then trade him at the deadline. No, let's go San Francisco Giants. Let's go the Giants. They don't know what they have with Robbie Ray. Let's go Frankie Montas to the Giants. Sure.
Andrew Heaney, huh? I don't know why the Braves are just speaking to me through all of this. You know what? Maybe he goes to the Nats. What do we think about that? Like, I know who did I have them sign earlier? I had someone sign with the Nats earlier on the staff. Kyle Gibson. So, like, Heaney and Gibson, I mean, you're replacing, like, Patrick Corbin in that. I think that's an okay replacement. Jock. Basically just going to be a DH, huh? Who could really use that? Like, honestly, the Tigers are kind of, like, that kind of feels right for the Tigers, in my opinion. A team that could really just use some thump in their lineup, I'm going Tigers. Matthew Boyd, I think he probably goes back to the Guardians.
Pivetta, I mean, he's on this list, but, like, he got the qualifying offer. He'd be stupid to not take it. We'll go there. I'm just going to say Nick Martinez back to the Reds as well. Feels right. I've seen some Danny Jansen to the Guardians talk. I'll drink that Kool-Aid. I'm in. Jose Quintana. What team needs a pitcher of Jose Quintana's capabilities? What team needs, like, an innings eater? The Nats? Are the Nats, like, feeling like the Nationals? He's going to sign with the Washington. It spoke to me.
Carlos Estevez. Should we get weird? I think Carlos Estevez goes to the Yankees. Luke Weaver, I don't know if he does exactly what he did last year in 2024. I think that Estevez goes to the Yankees. Clay Holmes. I am sending Clay Holmes. I think he's going to the Tigers as well. I think he makes sense in their bullpen. Kind of fits in with what they are. I think that makes some sense. Gleyber Torres, he's a Seattle Mariner. He's going to be a Seattle Mariner, and he's probably going to suck with the Mariners. But that's where Gleyber Torres is going to go. He's going to be a second baseman for the Mariners with Ha-Seong Kim maybe going and playing short or playing third base. J.P. Crawford, who knows what they're going to do with J.P. But I think that Gleyber at second base, if Ha-Seong Kim will go play third, I'm in. But at the same time, I don't know. There's some moving parts that need to happen there, but I think Ha-Seong Kim and Gleyber Torres can coexist on a Mariners roster. Tyler O'Neill. I think that Tyler O'Neill is going home to Canada, and he's going to go play for the Blue Jays. Jeff Hoffman, I'm going to say he's going to the Angels. I don't know. Nathan Eovaldi is an interesting one. I kind of want to say he goes back to the Rangers. Is that crazy? I think that's what I'm going to say. I think I'm going to say he's going to go back to the Rangers for Nathan Eovaldi. I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, like Kumar coming up and whatnot, like Leiter. I'm saying he's going to the Rangers.
It spoke to me in a dream. Michael Conforto, I feel like he'll go back to San Francisco unless they don't think they want him because they've got Jung-Hoo Lee, Helio Ramos. They still have Yaz, but like, that's a lot of people to the Giants, though, isn't it? 3. Buster's getting after it. Buster is getting after it. Mad Max on a 1-year deal. What team wants Max Scherzer's abilities? What team would sign Max Scherzer? What teams like that wants that dog? The Phillies? Mad Max going to Philadelphia? Sure. AJ Minter? Okay. What team haven't I had signed anybody that like should be in markets for things? I mean, really, the main one that I think stands out to me is the Padres, but like they're kind of in a weird spot, and I don't know if AJ Minter is really their cup of tea. Brewers, sure. Paul Goldschmidt, huh? 1-year contract for Paulie G. He's probably going back to the Diamondbacks. I haven't given them a first baseman yet, so that makes sense. That does make sense. I feel like he's just going to stay in San Diego. A surprise, like, pretty solid performer for them from that Soto deal.
Jurickson Profar, I think he runs it back with the Padres. He tried leaving once, he sucked. I think he runs it back. Luis Severino. Is this crazy? I think Luis Severino goes to the Tigers. I think they could use. I don't think that they can run that bullpen strat that they did in all of 2024 and still expect to make it back to the playoffs. A guy who kind of rebuilt his value in Luis Severino, I think makes a lot of sense going to the Tigers in this scenario. Tanner Scott, I honestly also think runs it back with the Padres because we saw what he did to Shohei Ohtani. With that being said, you know what? Tanner Scott's going to go to the Dodgers because they don't want him pitching against Shohei Ohtani anymore. How do we feel about that? Like a little back-end guy, back there with like Evan Phillips? I think that's a good fit.
Walker Buehler. Why would the Dodgers not bring him back? Is my question. I don't know why they wouldn't. Kirby Yates, high-end reliever, old, 1-year deal. What team is in need? I mean, back to Texas? I mean, David Robertson's not there still, right? Like he gone. Let's go Kirby Yates back to the Rangers. Soroka. What team's going to take a chance on Michael Soroka? I feel like the Dodgers would take a good chance on him just based on the fact that they need as much starting pitching depth as they can get because none of them can stay healthy, so why not add another guy that can't stay healthy? Andrew Kittredge, he's a Washington native. I like it. Kyle Gibson? Who need Pirates? So obviously a Pirate, it's crazy. Just absolutely clinical. Had the Cubs already get a reliever. I'm all over the board here. Is a problem that I feel like I'm running into. And there's going to be teams that don't make sense that sign guys. Phillies, Tommy Kahnle? Sure.
Christian Walker. Now we're getting to the hot and heavy stuff. First baseman Christian Walker. Where does he go? Do we think the Yankees go all out this offseason? I think they do. I think the Yankees turn back into the Yankees this offseason. That's what I think happens. And I think they go out there and sign Christian Walker to play first base for them now that Anthony Rizzo is not going to be there. And I think that is what they run with. Yusei Kikuchi, huh? Decent year for Yusei. Diamondbacks, if they can find a way to get rid of Jordan Montgomery's salary, I think that Yusei ends up being a Diamondback. I think that does make some sense there. He probably fits a little bit better than Jordan Montgomery does for them. As for Teoscar Hernandez, a former Seattle Mariner, by the way, I think he's going to be a Dodger. I think he's going to go back to LA. I could also see him going to the Blue Jays as well, but I do think that he ends up going back to LA because he had such a good year there. Sean Manaea, I do believe, even though he did not pick up his option, I do believe that he is going to go back to the Mets on a much bigger deal nonetheless. But I also think that Anthony Santander is going to go back to the Orioles. I think he's too good of a fit there with the Baltimore Orioles, and I would be shocked if they let him walk. But at the same time, I could see him going to, instead of it being Walker to the Yankees, I could see Santander going to the Yankees and hitting like 60 home runs. So I don't know. That's a tough one. I think Santander is obviously best relegated as a designated hitter, but you can put him over there at first base if you want to. So Santander is a fun one. I just have him going back to the Orioles, which is probably the boring answer, but that's what I'm going to do with him. Jack Flaherty. As a Jack Flaherty back in the day, keep in mind, not currently. Back in the day, as a Jack Flaherty stan, I thought he was going to be so good. And then, he fell off. He went to the Tigers, kind of became good again. Went to the Dodgers, continued being good. What do I want to do with Jack Flaherty? Where could Jack Flaherty go? He could go back to the Dodgers, but I think what they do with Clayton Kershaw is going to be interesting. Walker Buehler, I think I'd rather have him back. I think Jack Flaherty, he had such a terrible time with them. I think he goes to the Phillies. I think Jack Flaherty is going to go to the Phillies as well. I think I sent someone else there as a starting pitcher earlier. Doesn't matter. I didn't get to make a list. Joe told me to record this today. So here we are. I'm blaming him entirely.
Ha-Sung Kim also feels like a giant. Him and Adames, it's a lot. I don't know if it makes sense. He's not going back to San Diego, I don't think. Could the Red Sox use him? No, they've got too many guys coming up. What team could use Ha-Sung Kim's services that needs that position filled? Maybe the Astros? I don't hate that. They're not paying Bregman. Why would they do that? They're not paying Bregman. He's not going to sign there. He's not going to be healthy to start the year. That's another problem too. He's not going to be healthy or fully healthy. Oh God. Does that make sense? I don't think that makes sense. Because this could be like a 1-year deal and then they trade him. Miami. Ha-Sung Kim's going to Miami. Bieber. He's an Oriole. He's leaving Cleveland for whatever reason. Justin Verlander, I feel like he's just going to be back. Innings eater, older, starting pitcher. Tomoyuki Sugano from the NPB. Mets?
Max Fried, I think, is going to run it back with the Braves. It'd just be so weird to not see him in a Braves uniform. Like, I don't want to see Max Fried not in a Braves uniform. So I think he runs it back. And they could use the starting pitching help as well. And obviously, he was such a big part of that team over the past few years. It's just hard to imagine him not being with the team. Willie Adames, I know that it's a popular one, but I do think that he is going to go to the Giants. I think in the MLB Trade Rumors article, they said that everyone said that he was going to be a Giant. Where are Giants? But I think it just makes sense. You know, he's the best shortstop available. That's what they need desperately as a shortstop. I think that adding Willie Adames for the San Francisco Giants is probably the right move. Blake Snell is an interesting one, because we know that he opted out of the rest of his contract, and he's probably going to be looking to get a bag. And I think that means Blake Snell is going to be a Red Sox, which is a kind of scary, in my opinion. But Blake Snell with the Red Sox, I think makes sense. They need to add to that starting staff with like Cutter Crawford and whatnot. I think it makes sense to add Blake Snell to that team. I don't know if they're going to be willing to spend the money it's going to take to get Blake Snell, but I think that this is the offseason where the Yankees get back to being the Yankees and the Red Sox get back to being the Red Sox, and they kind of look at the Orioles not as much of a threat as they had before, because obviously Adley struggled. I mean, in this scenario, we're also about to see the Orioles maybe make another signing here. But yeah, I think that it just makes sense for Blake Snell to go to the Red Sox.
Bang. Hey, look, David Robertson. Who needs a reliever? Who wants him? Back to the Mets? No. Back to the Rangers? Maybe the Red Sox. Who they got in their pen? They still have Kenley? Whatever. Left-handed pitcher from the NPB, Shinizuki Agasawara. Where's he going to go? Guess is as good as mine. He's going to be a Tiger. Center fielder Harrison Bader. He's going to go to the Chicago White Sox. Tough scenes there. Spencer Turnbull. He's an angel. There's a lot of teams that didn't have signed anybody, and that's okay. I only have the Mariners signing one guy out of this. As a Mariners fan, kind of sucks. But we're submitting. Calling it a day.
Alex Bregman. Just where you'd expect him to go. He is going to Philadelphia, because the Phillies are going to trade Alec Boehm this offseason, maybe to the Mariners. And Alex Bregman is going to the Phillies. They are going to spend the money they need to make sure that they have the best possible chance to win the World Series next year. I think the Phillies are going to go all out this offseason, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Dodgers. We're going to see these super teams that are built to be sustainable. They are going to continue to add. With that being said, now Corbin Burnes, I think, makes a lot of sense to go back to the Orioles. I think that he was so good with them. I think it would be weird for them to not give him the bag under the new ownership they're under. They need pitching. He's the best starting pitcher available. It just makes too much sense. I think Corbin Burnes back to the Orioles is the most likely spot for him, and I think they're going to give him like $30+ million a year, and they're going to be happy to do it. Juan Soto, huh? Juan Soto. Where do you go to? So Juan Soto, guys, is going to sign with the Colorado. Imagine. Could you guys imagine? So, like, going back to the Yankees makes a lot of sense. Right? And I feel like that is the right answer. The Dodgers, however, might be willing to spend the money as well. Coming off of a World Series, they might be hungry for another one. They might be willing to go out there and sign Juan Soto. With that being said, in my scenario, they re-signed Teoscar Hernandez, which is why I think he does just return to the Yankees. I feel like that's probably the pretty popular pick. But those are my top 50 free agent predictions. Let us know in the comments down below what yours are. And who do you think is going to be right, Joe or Colton?
I have no idea. Let me know if you completely disagree with about all of these. But this is fun. This is something I like to do. It's a good time. You guys should fill one out too. And thanks for watching.
Oh, hell yeah. Submit. Yeah,
Traffic
oh, God.
lights.
Like, is this part up here part of the traffic light? You know what I mean? Like, come on. I'm gonna click it. Yes. That's part of the traffic light. What do you think? What do you think?
A bus.
Next. Water bottle moment.
That's not a bus. Stairs.
I'm leaving this in here, so you have to edit it all. Smile. Buses.
What?
Like, is this little underpart right here?
I'm nuts.
Tire.
All right.
And like this, is
Thanks
that
for
part of the
watching.
bus? I don't know. I'm clicking it. Am I a robot? Let's go. I'm not a robot. Let's go.